Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Ulrich Kienle, a director of hydropower equipment, better known as HPE, a supplier and manufacturer of underground mining machines and equipment that operate on high-pressure water. The South African mining industry's hydropower journey goes back to the early 1980s. But exactly how does one define high-pressure water power?
You're absolutely right. Humble beginnings back in the 80s, but frankly, very visionary at the time. So the concept really was that mining is going deeper. Deeper means it gets hotter, and bringing water down multiple kilometers down into the reef horizon means that you have a free pressure head. And the idea really was to use that free pressure head, cool the water, to then have a single medium that does both the cooling and the powering of the equipment underground. And of course, the technology to now be able to utilize equipment to run off this this water, is really what the challenge was, and what we have managed to succeed in over the last couple of decades. From the very infancy, where there really was not a single building block, today we have a complete range of equipment. Everything that conventional mining can do with compressed air or oil hydraulics, we can today do with a piece of equipment that is powered by high-pressure water. Equipment can today be configured into really delivering any kind of mining solution, from whether this is in the reef horizon or in the development activity getting to the reef horizon. Today, hydro as a powering source to drive mining machinery is in fact in use across South Africa in gold, platinum, and chrome space. In fact, there's some 50 different mine sites that today use water hydraulics as the primary powering medium to drive rock drills and mining machines. It is proudly South African, and indeed been perfected over the last couple of decades to the point where we are today a global market leader when it comes to water hydraulic usage for mining. On the valve side of our business, we're now selling on basically all continents. We're up in America, South America, Australia, of course, all across Africa. And with our mining equipment, we've had first projects in the regional Africa, and we've had some first success in Latin America.
And how financially competitive is high-pressure water power?
The commercial credentials are today such that the investment in hydro technology has paybacks of single months. Hydro makes sense in existing operations on a selective basis, and it certainly makes sense on new projects because the commercial reality is that it's just a more cost-effective technology on all fronts. Not only is the energy cost less, we're also talking about less usage of water, which means that the energy costs associated with pumping water back out of these deep mines is also reduced. So it's really all about using less energy to deliver output.
What opposition does mining have to face, using water in this way in a water-short South Africa?
It's one of those myths that we've worked really hard to dispel. Over the last 2 years in particular, we've run a number of long-term production trials with some of the mining majors in both gold and platinum space, and had these trials independently reviewed by third-party consultants that have put all sorts of measurement devices onto the water lines to establish once and for all that the consumption of water by water drilling is somewhere in the order of 15 to 20% less than mining with compressed air. Mining with water is also good from a perspective of the water does not get contaminated. With water hydraulic mining, you have no oil. It's oil-free. Whatever water you have as a footprint on a mine site, that water is simply pressurized. It is then utilized, and the water is then pumped back out of the mine. And so the process continues in this semi-virtuous closed-loop cycle. So, of course, there are some losses to evaporation on surface, but the point is that mining with water really allows you to mine with water in this kind of circular economy. With society being much more conscious around issues of global warming and conserving precious resources, the understanding of what water hydraulic mining can do for the bottom line of the mining industry as well as from a kind of social stakeholder perspective, is beginning to get more and more traction. Anything that you want to do in mining, you can today do with building blocks that are configured into mining solution, whether this is for development activity and haulages, or raise line development, or indeed in the reef horizon. Those tools all exist. What we're particularly excited about is the latest developments, and there's really 3 examples that I share with yourself in Mining Weekly. The first is what we call the Izidingo drill. The Izidingo drill is in fact an outcome of the presidential Phakisa process, where the mining industry came together and said, well, how do we go into the future? And interestingly enough, the industry, under the guidance of the Mineral Council and the whole thing being coordinated by the Mandela Mining Precinct, conceived of the Izidingo challenge, which was to develop a rock drill, 16 kilograms in weight, so that lady RDOs are able to use this tool, to be powered by an energy source other than compressed air, and hopefully with the ability to do more precise drilling. And I'm very pleased to say that we have in fact developed such a machine. We call it the Izidingo drill. It is today in commercial use at 6 of our South African mines. We in fact also have a first lady RDO operating one of these Izidingo drills. And what is really unique about it is that we have combined it with what we call a drill guide that allows us to deliver precise drilling. In other words, correct burden spacing. And, you know, as miners will all tell you, good drilling makes blasting easy, and good blasting means that you get maximized rates of advance and you get basically maximized production. It also uses much less water than prior generation water drills. So it really plays into this whole agenda of let's make it more sustainable, let's be even more efficient and conserving. The second to share is there's a lot of discussion in our industry today about man-free box holing. We do this today with what we call in the hole water hammer technology. We've just really broken all the records in delivering excavations of in excess of 100 meters. Never been done before. These things would historically have been done with raise boring. Well, we did this with water hydraulic in the hole technology. We've just finished all of the drilling on a mine site, 102 meters long, and are now in the process of blasting, and have also, by the way, used this technology to do some drilling in hypoabyssal diamond mine, where we've in fact managed to get these holes to go up in excess of 200 meters. We've also managed to very successfully integrate this hydro technology with trackless technology. So today we have a number of mines up on the northern limb that use modern TM3 equipment, yet have integrated with that TM3 equipment water hydraulics for doing the board and pillar bolting activity. So again, a very interesting example of how you can fuse modern water technology with sophisticated trackless equipment. The exciting thing is that the more you do, the more you see opportunity. In fact, we really see no shortage of new opportunities. 2 exciting things that we're currently working on. The one is what we call trepanning. Trepanning is really an interesting way of using our in-hole hammer technology to create larger excavations that will allow us to move away from drill and blast to what effectively becomes non-explosive 24/7 mining. We're in fact currently busy with a project with one of the mining majors. It's a proof of concept trial underground, where we're looking at this new non-explosive technology to do work in pillar extraction. But we're also looking at this as being a longer term solution to drilling out reef packets underground from a lower to an upper reef drive. In other words, no more drilling and blasting with roof support systems and people in the stope, but rather drilling on a 24/7 basis from a safe position with these modern new water hydraulic tools. And the other exciting thing is what we call hydro hoisting, which is really the concept of saying, whatever you produce underground, put that rock into a pipe and bring that pipe straight to surface. In other words, the vision that a very long time ago was crafted by our industry to say, wouldn't it be nice if one day we had rock on tap we really believe that this is the next step to exactly that. In other words, use water hydraulics, the pressure and the coolth to power equipment, lubricate equipment, cool equipment, and then use that flushing water to take the broken rock, suitably sized down, put it in a pipe, and bring it straight to surface. Rock on tap.
And, the mining industry has always been fairly conservative. Are they moving forward with greater vigor now? And what do you see happening going forward with regard to acceptance of the technology?
Well, mining is conservative. It needs to be conservative. We're doing a lot of risk mitigation, and change takes time. But I think we're now at a point, a generation in, where water hydraulics really has gone mainstream because of the need to be, focused on the Eskom problem of not enough power available, the discussions around sustainability of mining with conserving water. We're beginning to have the kind of conversations with the mining industry that, even a decade ago was simply not possible because the urgency just wasn't the same as it is today. South African innovation is alive and well. It is demonstrated that we, in fact, have water as Mother Nature helping us solve the mining challenge in a more sustainable fashion. Water really is the solution. Water ticks all of the boxes. Water really is the opportunity for our mining industry to have a longer life of mine and just do things in a better way, in a more sustainable nature, for the benefit not only of the mining industry, but of all stakeholders, society at large.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Ulrich Kienle, a director of hydropower equipment